Virtual.
What is up, everybody? A good group tonight. This is good stuff. Very cool. I'm letting everybody get on here for just a minute. I'm seeing a lot of y'all. I'm going from speaker view. Wow, look at you guys. Awesome, awesome. Hey, if you're jumping on and you've never been on here, we want to encourage you to mute yourself. I'm going to give you guys control where you can unmute yourself if you want to talk. But mute yourself. If we're all unmuted, it'll be crazy. And also put the phone. We don't want to see your ceiling fan or your dusty under your bed or wherever you put it or whatever. And it's totally cool. Like I see Dan and Liam. What's up, Liam? I see you guys together. That is totally cool. It doesn't work very well when you've got two phones or a computer and a phone in the same room. You get reverb and all that kind of stuff. So here is the deal. I'm going to unmute everybody, and I want everybody to say hello. We are being recorded, so don't do anything or say anything stupid, okay? All right? All right, everybody muted. Everybody say hi.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
I'm on your screen now. People.
Mr. Brian Shaw, you're a bad person.
I win.
What's up, guys?
So bad. It's such a bad time to have allergies. Like, if you have allergies right now, game over.
Okay, I just muted
Mr.
everybody.
Brian came through and acted like he was about to arrest me.
All
He
right,
scared me.
you'll need to make sure to mute yourself, okay? So you have the ability to unmute yourself and mute yourself and all that kind of stuff. So I thought what we would do is we would play a game. I'm going to get this going here. Let's see what I've got. Let's try that. We're going to play a game called Home Hunt. All right, I think everybody can see the page. So here's what's going to happen. I am basically going to put a random thing up here, and the first one of you to find it and unmute yourself and tell me, you get a point. We're playing for pizza. All right, I already sent one of these out, so this is like for real. So I will send a pizza to your house. So here's the deal. I'm going to take off. Let's see. Takes me a second here to get everything going. All right, take the title graphic off. All right, be the first one to find the item and then bring it back. And we've got to be able to see it, okay? See it for sure. So let's see here. I'm trying to take the stuff off here. Okay, I can't even read that. Nobody can read that. I'm having technical difficulties. It's like the theme of the night, y'all. Theme of the night. Okay. Right. I don't know if you guys can read that or not. I'm trying to take the directions off and I can't seem to get it off. All right, let's try this again. There we go. There we go. Now we're cooking. Here we go. Let's try it again. All right, here we go. Let's see what it lands on. Something that belongs to one of your parents. Something that belongs to one of your parents. All right.
I got one.
You got it. Whoa! All right, Isaac. What is that, Isaac? Tell me what that is.
It's a bowl of shells.
You're gonna have your shoe.
It's a what?
It's a bowl of like ocean shells from Haiti.
Okay. All right. All right. Very good. All right. We're gonna try this again. Try this again here. We're gonna clear it.
It kicked me out, but I'm back.
All right. Let's try this again. Hey, bring a Disney movie. First one of you to bring a Disney movie and show it to the screen and unmute yourself.
I don't have a Disney.
Hey, I'm Moana.
I have one right here.
That's Snow White.
Okay.
I got one.
Whoa, Parker
I
Todd.
already got one.
All right, Parker Todd. Everybody unmute yourself. Parker Todd. Good job, Parker. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep this going. All right, here we go. Try something different here. 6 eggs. Who in the world can bring 6 eggs? Can anybody?
I got you.
Man, there's some violence going on at home.
Brandon, I got you. Dawson got you.
Dawson.
I have eggs. I have
Oh,
eggs in the carton.
I have eggs.
Saul, Filthy, and Dawson have Oh, Mitchell. Mitchell's even got eggs. Let's go. Hey.
Dawson's got way more than 6.
Oh my goodness.
Dawson, it has to be 6 eggs.
I have
Not more than 6.
Okay. All right. Everybody mute yourself.
Just wait till it's over.
All right. Mute yourself. Mute yourself. All right. Y'all are getting violent. I don't know what the deal is. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's try this again. A couple of more of these. Man, I'm scared. All right. Let's try another one here. Let's see what it's going to be. A toilet seat. Oh my gosh. A toilet seat.
Brandon,
I got you.
Brandon, I got you.
I got it.
No.
I'm here for it. Brandon, I have it. Brandon,
I got it for it.
Dawson, I see
I
you.
got it first.
I'm touching the
Abigail, I see you.
disgusting.
Hey, it's inappropriate
Brandon,
using it while you show it.
Brandon.
Put it out there. All right.
Hey, first one to lick it wins.
Please don't.
Ew.
Do not.
All right.
Yay,
Hey, stop.
Right here. I'm just sitting down in my bathroom.
All right. Everybody mute
I have
yourself.
one.
Do a couple of more. All right. Here we go. Let's try another one. Whoop. I lost you. Let's see. Anybody got a funny mug? Anybody got a funny?
I won. Brandon, I got a really good one. Brandon, I got like the best one ever.
Brandon, I got it.
Brandon,
I heard you. Don't unmute yourself till you get it. All right.
this is my mom's teacher mug.
Whoa.
I've got a Yeti.
Got it.
It's a unicorn mug.
Dawson, I don't give a
My mom's mug. It says, "Please step away from my desk. I'm not going to talk to you today."
Step away from my desk. I'm not talking to you today. Somebody show me one. I've seen Lindsay and Dawson. Anybody else got a mug? Oh my gosh.
This one says coming in hot.
Isaac, Isaac.
It's a Lego mug. This one says Super Dad.
Nice. Nice.
Hey, Brandon, can you hear us?
Yes, Dan, I see it.
You can hear me, but I'm on
Get the
mute.
Beatles mug.
I got a Lego
Good
mug.
job. Okay, what is that? What is that, Isaac Lunsford? What do you got in your hand? Is that like a Lego picture? What is that?
It's a Lego mug.
It's like a mug. I just knew somebody was going to go, look at this mug. All right. Let's try this again. Fridge magnet. Brandon, I got it. Brandon.
I have it. It's right here. Look
Dawson,
right there.
oh my gosh.
I have a crane.
I have it.
Dawson, that is a bird.
It's a llama. It's a
Llama.
Lincoln Memorial.
I got one.
See it. See
I
it.
bought this in
It's
DC.
right here.
All right.
I bought it in DC.
Okay.
I win.
All right. Good job.
My
You guys
game.
are great. I don't know.
I
who's
had a
gonna
bird
win,
magnet.
but we're having a lot of fun with this. All right. I'm gonna play till I get a repeat. Let's see if I get a repeat. Maybe it won't repeat. Here we go. Ah, we got a repeat. Okay, I'll do one more. See if we can get one more. Last one. Roll of toilet paper, of course.
Brandon, Brandon, I got it.
I got a whole bag.
I got it, Brandon.
Right here.
Look at Hannah. Bang. Hannah Estes.
Got one.
Good job.
3 rolls of toilet paper.
Yes. Okay, how did you get that so quick?
Hannah anticipated roll
Because
of toilet
I was
paper.
doing my makeup.
Oh,
I
that
did.
makes sense.
Here's a setup.
I got you, girl.
How many of y'all are sitting in the bathroom with this?
Look at my setup.
Way too quick.
Yeah.
All doors are open.
My Lord.
Doors.
Okay.
I have to go put my magnet back.
Okay. Yeah, y'all go return. Oh my gosh.
I get pizza. I won.
Oh, of course you did, Dawson. All right. So if everybody will mute yourself for a second, I'll be a little bit more serious. We're going to, let's see. I'm going to share another screen with you guys. We're gonna look at some questions from the lesson tonight. And if you didn't get to see it, don't sweat it. It's fine. You'll pick up what we talked about pretty quickly. And by the way, that'll be posting on YouTube later. You can go back and watch it. It's about, I think, 9 minutes long. You guys are probably loving these short messages. It's like, can Brandon do this all the time? And the answer is probably. All right. So let's see what we've got here. We got several questions. And I'll just randomly spin this, and we'll look at one here. Okay, and I want you to raise your hand. Don't unmute yourself unless I call on you. What are some real ways that you and I can deal with idols in our life? We've been talking about idols, things we put in front of God, things like that. So what are some real ways that you and I anybody want to raise your hand? All right, Gage, what do you got?
You can have accountability partners. That's the short one, but yeah.
Okay, well, tell everybody what an accountability partner is. Okay, accountability partner is somebody that you can watch your back. You know, somebody needs to watch Gage's back because he can't hear. Anyway, somebody that you invite into your life to watch your back. MC.
What?
MC, what do you got?
Okay.
MC, what do you got?
I was just gonna that
See, you just muted yourself. All right, MC, you are muted. Okay, Austin, what do you got?
I think you could try your hardest to stay away from those idols. Like, say it's a football player or
Can you hear me now?
An artist.
Yeah, Austin, go ahead.
Say it's like a song artist, and you could just stay away from that. And like, if you have to, and it keeps on popping up all over your YouTube, you could just get off of YouTube for a while. And I mean, you could pray about it and try to get away from the problem.
Yeah. Okay. MC, are you still there?
I am, but
Alright.
like my Wi-Fi was messing up. So,
Okay.
anyways, do you mind if I say something about it, like how I deal with it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, honestly, for me, it's just making the decision to choose the Lord over whatever idol I'm dealing with. Like, and it's easier said than done. But whenever I'm faced with that temptation, it's like you've been talking about the guardrails that we set up, just deciding that we're going to choose the Lord over it. And like that just reminds me that when I'm choosing Him, He's there, He's ready to back me up. But when I'm saying, no, I'm going to do this, I'm going to take my own way, then that's going against what we've been asking Him for. We're going against Him helping us out because we're pushing His help away, like by going over the guardrail on purpose. So, you know what I mean?
Hannah Estes, you got anything to add? What are some real ways to deal with idols in our life?
Say, it was this, maybe it's your phone. Maybe it's like a certain video game or YouTube, like Dawson mentioned. You could set restrictions on your phone. You could also, like, if it's a certain object, and you could like, okay, this I'm gonna put this aside till till this time, and not gonna touch it that much. So
Right.
you could set restrictions for yourself,
Okay.
like guardrails.
All right. Good stuff, y'all. Hey, let's do another question. Here we go. All right. So some of you have already said this, but what are some idols that teenagers have? And I would love to hear from some folks that haven't talked yet. So give me some examples of idols that teenagers struggle with in particular. Reese Owens, what do you got?
Okay, yes. So one thing like that a lot of people I know in high school especially, they put relationships, especially like seniors. One thing that has been like really on my mind is a lot of seniors end up going to college where their girlfriend or boyfriend go, and because they want to chase the relationship and save it, and it ends up failing, and they are at that college. And so that's one thing that like I know has happened. And so that's just one thing. And then like people like teenagers my age, like another big thing is relationships. They put off their hobbies, they put off family time, they put off church and stuff to satisfy a relationship that's only temporary.
Okay, good point. So what are some idols that teenagers have? Who else wants to speak to that? Who wants to give some examples?
Sports.
Sports. All right. True story. And here's what I've learned, Liam. You don't have to play sports for sports to be an idol. In my case, you don't have to play sports well for sports to be an idol, for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. Dawson, what do you got?
I think a big thing for teenagers is their phones and video games.
Okay.
Because they're in this generation, everybody's stuck around electronics, and that's the best way to get and get on and catch up with your friends. And it can be a good thing if you use it for the right reasons, but it can also be a very bad thing if you turn it into something that will hurt you or somebody else. So it's not they're good and bad, but it's an idol to almost every person, because every person like get their phone taken, it's the end of the world for them at school. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die, I can't look at Instagram for a couple days. It's so that's one of the biggest things. And like Fortnite and Call of Duty and stuff like that, that's a big idol for younger teenagers, because that's another way they connect with their friends.
Okay. Satori? Hey, Satori, you got anything to add? What are some idols that teenagers have? I see your hand raised.
Mine would especially be school, because academically, like I'm very involved, and school is like a big part. Like it's like I get on it and I focus on it, and like there's nothing else. And so I do struggle with trying to not make that my main thing and making God my main thing.
Right.
But I do struggle with, because school is like up here, it should be like that, I know, but it does get like that sometimes.
Okay. All right. Let's look at another question here. Let's see, go back to this, and here we go. We're down to 3 questions. Yay. So why are idols so bad, or are they so bad? I shared in the message a specific reason. There's probably more than one reason, but why are idols so bad? Abigail Hornbeck, what do you got? Why are idols so bad? Abigail, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, now I'm unmuted. Okay, so it's because you put that like in front of God, you put it as the main importance. So instead of saying, oh, God should be in this big part of my life, you think, okay, God can come after I do this with this person and this, because they should come first before God, because I like them more. So we think that they're more important.
Yeah. Well, why are they bad? I get why we have them, but why are they so bad? I mean, is it that bad to like something else besides God, even for like a season of your life? Lindsay Sperlin, what do you got?
It may seem like it's just nothing at first, like it's just something you're kind of into, until it kind of slowly takes control of your life without you even realizing it. And like after you're so obsessed with something for a while, they have a tendency to let you down. Like they have a tendency to fail you when you trust in them instead of God.
Right. Let's see. Okay. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm having technical difficulties again, which is the theme of the night. Hey, I was just going to share with you guys this screen right here. So, all right. What are you guys looking at? Are you looking at a screen with controls, or are you looking at just a screen with a word on it? I can't tell.
With controls.
That's what I thought. You guys are seeing the.
We're looking ahead.
Looking ahead, you're getting secrets. Okay. So idols are wrong, and I think Lindsay kind of alluded to it, because they give you false hope. You know, they now can you guys, what are you guys looking at?
No controls.
There you go. All right.
Just the words.
A
Just
screen
the
that
words.
was wrong.
Huh? Why are idols wrong? All right. So they give you false hope. That's the deal. Like they promise something, or you feel like if I get this, I'll be this. I'll get to do this. But then when you get to the end of the road, it didn't lead to where you thought. And in some cases, it leads to pain and hurt and disappointment. And it's just like that verse I shared in 1 Samuel 12:21. God, as clear as day, says, don't go back to worshiping worthless idols. They can't help you. They can't save you. They can't rescue you. They're useless. So that's pretty much God's take on it. I see a lot of raised hands here. All right. Let me escape out of this real quick. Very cool. Let's see. I'm trying to find comments here. All right. If you got your hand raised, go ahead and comment if you wanted to say something.
Whoops.
You guys still there?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, and I'm having technical difficulties. There we go. That's back to where I want. All right.
What's the question?
Mitchell Emmerich, welcome to the show. What do you got, my friend?
First off, I just want to say shout out my boy Dawson. Those are two pretty good answers earlier.
Yeah.
Parker Todd, just glad you're here tonight. Love you, buddy. You know, it's always good to see Parker. But I would say that idols are always bad, and there's something that take our eyes off God whenever our eyes should be on God, if that makes sense. It takes our focus away from what our focus should be on all the time. So,
good points. Reese, what do you got?
Okay, I was holding this. I had it in the front of my brain. I had my finger on it this whole time. This was something you said that like really hit me was idols tend to call the shots. If you put them in your life first, whatever you have at the most depth part of your heart that you put first before anything, it's going to call the shots. And something you said was it can be money, it can be relationships, it can be people, it can be family. Like it depends on what your idol is, but it can lead your life. It can call your shots. And that's something that like, that's why God needs to be first. And you don't need to have anything before him, because you might end up making a choice and it's not the best choice what you think it might be at that time.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's take a look at another question here. And I know some of you got your hands raised. I love you guys. I'm not trying to blow you off. We got to move to get through what we're going to get through tonight in just a few minutes. So let's see here. And of course, it takes me a year to get the controls right. All right, we're down to 2 questions. All right. We've already pretty well talked about the definition of an idol, and it's simply anything you put in front of God. So anyway, here's the last question of the night, and I'll just ask it. I can't really put it on the screen. Let me talk to you guys for a minute about what does it mean for God to be a jealous God? Did anybody catch that in the message? Being a jealous God. What in the world does that mean? I don't know if you guys remember the part in Exodus chapter 20 where God basically says, he says, I'm going to read it to you. You guys can't see it, but it says, you must not bow down to any idols or worship them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God who will not tolerate your affection from any other gods. So what does it mean to be a jealous God? Aurora, what do you got?
So when God is jealous, he means that he knows what's best for you and you're running after something that's not good for you. So you're basically bowing down something that's temporary and is not going to get you what you need versus the Almighty God who's going to take care of you in everything you do.
Right. All right. Awesome. Abigail Hornbeck, are you still wanting to talk? What's up?
I didn't think I had my hand raised.
You did, but that's okay. It's all good. So one of the things that I would show you guys, let's see. All right. So you guys can see, that God says he's a jealous God. This is what I want you guys to get. Basically, that whenever we're jealous as human beings, it's always selfish. It's always I wish I had what you had, and I deserve it, and it's about myself. God's jealousy is always like, for instance, a good example was, well, I tried out for the team and I didn't make it, but he did, and I'm jealous that he made it. But why are you jealous? Because I deserve it. I feel like I should have gotten it, and it would complete me or make me feel whole or whatever if I got on the team. Well, God's jealousy is not like that. God doesn't look at you and me and go, if Brandon just loved me more, it will complete me. Y'all, I and you, we bring nothing to God. And so God's jealousy is not for his benefit, it's for our benefit. God knows that if we don't seek him, we'll never be complete without him. He knows that we're going to be the ones lacking. We're going to be the ones walking around, not really having the life that God would have us to have. So that's the big part about that. So I used to hear God as a jealous God, and it just seemed like God was being petty and whatever, but that's not the case at all. Hey, I want to share with you guys. Basically three. I've already looked at this stuff. Sorry about this. 3 kinds of idols real quick. And I'm just going to fly through these and then let you guys, maybe we'll discuss one at a time and real fast and we'll finish up. But these are 3 kinds of idols we tend to have. Okay, the first kind is idols we exchange for God. In other words, idols we trade for God. In other words, God, I'm going to swap you for this. God, I'm going to pursue this and push you to the side of my life. We don't even maybe think of it, but that's what we end up doing. We swap God for an idol. And Romans chapter 1 talks about this. In Romans 1:23, it says, instead of worshiping the glorious ever-living God, they worshiped idols made to look like mere people and birds and animals and reptiles. And it says, so God abandoned them to do whatever shameful things their hearts desired. And as a result, they did vile and degrading things with each other's bodies. And then here's the key thing in Romans chapter 1. They traded the truth about God for a lie. You see that? Where they traded the truth about God for a lie. So they worshiped and served things God created instead of the Creator himself. So you guys kind of understand, maybe get a little more of a picture of how you can trade the truth for a lie. So anybody got a comment about that? Does that click with anybody, resonate with anybody? how you can trade God for something? Anybody got an example of that? Or all right, Dawson, what do you got?
I know a lot of people, like people that are like, say somebody that's a huge Warrior fan, basketball Warrior fan, and say they want to know, they want to be say they want to be Steph Curry, want to know everything about him. They might put God off to the side and trade him with learning to play good, just like Steph Curry. So they might be like trading him to learn something that has nothing to do with him.
Okay. Hannah Estes.
Love you, Mitchell.
So, trading things for like God, maybe after school activities, because after school activities are a lot. Like even if it takes up a lot of time, most after school activities like sports, dance, any school activities, they take up a lot of time. Like I know Quiz Bowl, they have after school activities. They have
Right.
to do stuff during the weekends, like competitive dance. We do it after school on weekends, and it's a lot. And sometimes people might trade that and then just like push God off to the side just because it takes up so much of their time. And they may only come to church on Wednesdays and Sundays.
Or not at all. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
All right, here's the second kind of idol. I don't know if can you guys see this on the screen? Give me a thumbs up. Dawson, I can see you. Okay, cool. So this is idols we place beside God. And you may say, well, what's the difference? Well, in the first example, we give God up and take it in God's place. This example is where we try to straddle the fence, so to speak. We try to serve God and serve this other thing. I don't know if that makes any sense, what I'm trying to get at. A lot of people do this all the time where you say, all right, I've got this thing I really want, and God, I know you're important, so I'm going to try to straddle it, and go one way or the other. And what ends up happening is, what do you think happens? Can somebody tell me what you think happens? MC, what do you think happens when you've got God and you try this? Let's say I want to serve money and I want to serve God. What do you think happens? Anybody?
Money, the thing that you're trying to straddle against God is gonna take over, because that's what you're gonna be more worried about. Because like say you're like, well, I know this thing is real, but I believe God's real, but is it 100%? But I know this is real, so why don't I just go ahead and do stuff with this while I know I have it and I have plenty of time to go fix things with God? And that's not how it should be. I mean, you need to fix things with God immediately, because you never know when he's coming back. And it might be too late before you fix things with God if you're not a Christian.
That's good points, Dawson. You guys can see Matthew 6:26. Jesus talks about this as clear as day. He says, you can't serve two masters. You can't straddle the fence, is what he's trying to say. If you're trying to live your life and try to please God 100% and please something else and devote yourself to something else 100%, it will not happen. You can't cram God in. God's too big to be crammed into something. He's just too big. You arrange your life around God, or you don't have God in your life. I mean, you say, well, yeah, I do. But the reality is not really. God doesn't call the shots. The other thing does. And Jesus says, nobody can serve two masters. You're going to hate one and love the other, or you'll be devoted to one and despise the other. And in this case, Jesus says you can't serve both God and money. You can't serve both God and money. And you can just put whatever money is, you can put the blank there. You cannot serve both God and blank. MC, I see your hand raised. You got anything to add to this?
Okay, thank you. Okay, so anyways, just like Dawson was saying, if you are trying to straddle the fence, well, that just means that you are favoring something else in your life. And if you're letting that take some of your favor away from the Lord, then that's where your heart's going to be. That's where your treasure is. So you're going to end up falling into that because you're allowing it in. And honestly, I did that to myself, not with money because, I'm 14. But I let that happen over the summer and in the fall. But in the end, y'all, when you just say, Jesus, I know that you're calling me to this. I know that you are saying I need to get rid of this and I need to jump over the fence and get way far away from that temptation and just come straight to you. Y'all, your life is so much simpler and so much more joyful when you do, because it's just to the point where you can focus on the Lord and you're not focusing on that thing that was distracting you from living in his love. It's just so much easier. And when you just say, Jesus, I'm coming to you and I'm turning away from this temptation, that's when you're in full surrender, and that's where you're at your best to serve the Lord.
Right. That's good. Good point.
It's
Good points. That is awesome stuff. Hannah Estes, is there anything you want to add? You've got your hand raised for quite a while. What's up?
Yes, I would actually like to add something. So basically, when you're trying to have both things, it's basically like trying to watch two TV shows at the same time. If you've ever tried to done that, it's not
good.
easy.
Yeah.
You watch one, it goes to commercial, you try to watch the other. But sooner or later, it's going to be too hard. And even though you know the other one's playing and you've watched a bit of it, one's still going to come over and you're just going to want to watch that one instead.
That's good. That's a really good illustration. It's hard. It's kind of like when you first get in a Zoom chat room and everybody's unmuted. I can't head to tails. It's overwhelming. You can't filter anything out. And think about it, y'all. That's the way God is. He hears everybody all the time. It's not a big deal to him. But yeah, we have a hard time multitasking, even though we think we can. We really can't. All right, I'm going to show you the last one. All right, everybody can see this. I hope it says idols we mistake for God. Okay, this is really crazy deep. What I'm about to share with you. All right, like this is crazy deep. Are you guys ready? Everybody, hold on to something. Okay, it's not that hard to understand, but it is deep. So basically. I don't want to go to seminary tonight, but it's going to be a close to it. All right. So y'all see the little word Imago Dei? Okay. That's Latin for image of God. I'm going to show you something here. Back in Genesis 1:27, God made man, male and female. And it says that God created human beings in his own image. Okay. That is Imago, image. Dei, God, the image of God. He says he created people, male and female, in the image of God. And it says in the image of God, he created them, male and female. He created them. So what does that mean? Here's what that means. We are made in the image of God. So what does this have to do with idols? Here's what it has to do with idols. Okay, really, really, really important that you get this. Because I think this is something that I think more and more happening in our generation, all right? So, okay, so Imago Dei is we made in God's image. But here's what an idol is. It's when we make God into our image. That's a form of idolatry, okay? You may not think of it that way, but that is a form of idolatry when we make God in our image. Things like, God would think like I would think. Well, not necessarily. God would prefer what I prefer. Not necessarily. Some of us think, well, God would vote the way I voted. A lot of adults think that way. Not necessarily. We can make God into our own image. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but the bottom line is God delivers his people out of Egypt. Moses is on Mount Sinai. He's getting the 10 Commandments. He's up there for, I think 40 days, 40 nights. He's up there a long time. And they haven't heard a thing, and people get impatient, like you do when you're in quarantine, that kind of impatient. They're like, okay, God, you got to do something. And so they go, all the people storm Moses' brother, come to Aaron, his brother, and say, look, we're not waiting on God. We're going to make our own God. Does that make sense? We're going to fashion and form our own God. And so basically what ends up happening is they, in Exodus 32:1, it basically says, when the people saw how long it was taking Moses to come back down off the mountain, they gathered around Aaron and they said, make us some gods who can lead us. And then he says, so Aaron said, take the gold rings from the ears of your wives and sons and daughters and bring them to me. So they get all of their gold, and then watch this. Then Aaron took the gold, melted it down, molded it into the shape of a calf. And when the people saw it, they exclaimed, these are the gods who brought us out of the land of Egypt. And you read that, and you go, that just seems stupid and foolish. Y'all, that's the way we are. Sometimes we want to shape the God in our image. We want a God that's comfortable to me. Whether we call him Yahweh God or we call him something else. We want a God that's comfortable. I know that's crazy, crazy deep. Does anybody want to add anything to that? I know that is maybe way up here. But, man, I see this all the time where we just assume God's going to be like us. And man, God's ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. That's my seminary rant for the night. Anybody want to add to that? Or any adults want to talk about that? That's pretty deep stuff. Can I have a life group leader that's not asleep right now? Want to respond to anything we've said tonight, or that, how we make God in our own image? Anybody?
I think that's how we justify a lot of the things we choose to do. We may choose to do something that we think is right or the way we want it to be done, and we justify it by saying God would like this, God would want it to be done this way.
Yeah.
So our plans become God's plans when that's probably not really. And we're seeing that a lot right now, where all these plans that we had made, are suddenly not plans anymore. We can't do it. We can't follow through with those things. And
right.
True God's story. Kind of redirected us and our attention to what's important.
I see Jesse Blevin's hand raised. I don't know if it's Jesse or Jacob, but whichever one, y'all go ahead.
Yeah, so sorry, Lillian's kind of yelling in the background, but I definitely feel that we really twist the word a lot, and not just that, but also a lot of the sayings that people hear, like, oh, God won't give us anything that we can't handle, or everything happens for a reason, and people use that to justify, oh, well, that's God's will for my life. And we really try to manipulate it into, honestly, it being our will when we falsify it and say, oh, no, it's God's will in my life, because he won't give me anything that I can't handle, or because everything happens for a reason, so we just go for it. And I really see it a lot in my generation, especially, and in other generations too, but I'm just engulfed around people that are in my generation. So that's something that I see a lot, as far as like people just trying to chase their own dreams and saying that, oh, well, that's God's will for my life, instead of actually taking a step back and focusing, okay, Lord, let your will be done in my life, whatever it may be, because we really try to push our own agenda and make it out as if it was God's will in our life, when in reality, it more than likely probably isn't.
Yeah, I know it's easy to say, God, this has got to be from you because this is what I feel. This is what I just know. I was made for this. One of the biggest idols in my life, y'all, is ministry. Okay? And you say, what's wrong with that? Isn't that God's work? Yeah, until it doesn't become about God anymore. It becomes about me, or it becomes about something else. And that's something that as a minister, you have to fight. I mean, even a good thing, most idols are really good things, and so sometimes I assume this is what God wants, and God's like, I didn't want that, and all that. He's really good. Christy, are you trying to say something? You're unmuted. What's up?
No, not. I did a minute ago, but I'm fine. Not right now.
Okay. All right. I just saw you were unmuted. I didn't know if you wanted to comment on this. Hey, y'all, I'm going to wrap things up tonight with this question, because, you need to always ask the so what question. So here's the so what question. So what do I do with idols in my life? What do I do with idols in my life? What do you guys think? Anybody want to give me, so let's say I've got idols. I know I do. I've struggled with this, or whatever. What do? Just say, well, I got idols, and keep doing it. What do you do? And don't say, well, quit. I mean, apparently my internet connection's unstable, so I'm sorry if I'm breaking up on you guys. Reese, what do you got?
Okay, so I have a lot, but I'll stick to your one question. So to answer your question, I would say, like, you not the typical answer is just quit, like you said. Just pray about it. Really seek ask God, what are you putting it before him, and what can you do, and what steps can you take to put him first, and talk to somebody about it. Talk to your life group or your life group leader or somebody in your life that can hold you accountable and say, hey, I know you're struggling with this, and then ask them about it, and they can ask you and hold you accountable and say, hey, remember, do your devotional today. Don't do this before, that kind of thing.
Right. That's good. Those are good points.
That's like in my personal life.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you've got to acknowledge the problem and tell somebody. I think if you just know it and don't say anything, you're going to go right back to it. Harley, what do you got?
It kind of makes me think of the analogy with like the jar. Okay, this is gonna be kind of confusing for me to explain, but it's like you have a jar and then you have rocks, which is like godly things in your life, like doing daily devotions with him or talking with him or just praying, like that kind of stuff. And then you have rice or something that's like resembles what you want to do, or like your hobbies or other different things in your life. And if you try to do all the stuff that you want to do first, and you put that in the jar first, and then you try to put all the rocks, then it doesn't fit. But if you do the rocks first, and then all of the stuff that you want to do, then it works out. And a little like summary of that is, if you do what God wants you to do first, and you follow Him first, then He makes time for the other things that are good for you that you still want to do. If that even makes any sense whatsoever.
It does. It does. I don't, yeah, this is not going to show up. Trying to do something really cool. I was trying to actually put up what you're talking about. I don't know if I can pull that up. Yeah, there's a really good analogy Harley's talking about, where you put, like, if you've got, big rocks, medium-sized rocks, and little rocks, and you can actually watch a video, and I'm not going to play it. It'll take too long, and who knows with our internet if it will work or not. But basically, you end up, if you wait until the last to put the biggest rocks in, you will never get them in. And you have to put the big rocks in first, then the next size rocks, and then the little ones, and they each represent, the big rocks God, and the little rocks are things like your family that are very important, and maybe your work and some other things as well. And then the little things are things that just don't matter, that we put a lot of stock in. Boy, I got a lot of hands raised. Let's see, we've already heard from Harley. Aurora, what do you got?
Okay, so you said that idols could even be a good thing. So maybe we could start trying to go back from what we were doing, from worshiping it, to slowly making it a good thing again, instead of making it what it was and making it the main thing in our lives, and start realizing, hey, read the Bible, pray, sing His praises, all that type of stuff, instead of spending all your time on this one thing that you're really focused on.
That's a really good point. So I'll put this up. So it's like I said in the message. If you guys, I don't know if you guys heard it or not, but when a good thing becomes the main thing, it becomes a bad thing. You say, well, how can that be possible? Well, if the good thing isn't God, it's going to end up taking over and distracting you if you're not careful. And so the thing is not to say you can't do anything or pursue anything. Just make God the main thing. If you really will make God the main thing and do what He says and let Him call the shots, even when He says no, you trust Him anyway, and it helps. Here's a good verse to kind of close things out. By the way, that's my attempt at the rock illustration. But anyway, the Genesis 35:2, this is the last verse of the night. It says, so Jacob told everyone in this household, destroy your idols, wash yourselves, and put on clean clothing. You say, what's that have to do with anything? Destroy your idols, get rid of them, take a break from them. And what's happened with everything going on with the pandemic is we've been kind of forced to do that. Even me, there are things in my life that were calling the shots that weren't God, and we have to put them on hold. And I realized, man, there's some things in my life that I thought I couldn't live without that God's like, you totally can live without it. And so when things are back to somewhat of a norm, whatever that's going to look like, I don't have to go back to the way it was. Anybody want to add anything before we close? I got one quick thing to say about camp, and then we're going to pray and go. But anybody got anything you want to say before we close?
Going back again on replacing idols. See, I've watched this show called All American, and not replacing. Having both at the same time, having two masters. I watched a show called All American, which everybody should watch on Netflix. And I'm not gonna spoil much, but Asher, the person Asher, he has to choose between the Catilla, which is his new girlfriend's dance, or football, because he's the new captain.
Right.
And he puts football in front of his relationship, just kind of like Spencer did. He puts football in front of his relationship when he shouldn't make football his main priority. He should make them both the same. Like, and same with God. Say a person wants to watch their favorite team on football, but say their church starts at 11, like a late church, and it goes to 1, and they don't want to miss the game. They might like, oh, just so I can please both things, me and God, I might just go to Sunday school and then go to watch football after. I'm not gonna go to the main service. So that's what I was thinking when we got to the replacing and having 2 masters.
Okay. MC?
Okay, I just wanted to mention that you can overcome your idols because you're in the Lord's strength now, and it's not impossible to get rid of them. Like, you can do it because I've done it. And that's not saying a lot. That's just saying you chose the Lord over something because you knew that he's better for you than that idol is. And trust me, that is so true because he has a good plan for you where it doesn't lead to the pain that idol could have. So just trust it. And if you feel that the Lord is saying this is an idol and you need to get rid of it, then you need to get rid of it, because that's what I felt like the Lord was saying to me for a couple things. And when I finally got rid of them, I was like, oh my gosh, Jesus, you're so right. Why did I not listen to you these past 2 months when I was just denying it? And it's really important to acknowledge things as an idol, because if you think, oh, they're fine, they're nothing, they're not taking over anything, that's when it's gonna slip through your sight and you're not gonna see it happen. You're gonna think, oh, I'm fine, but then this idol is gonna take over, and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, it just took over, and I didn't even know it. And then you're stuck in this where it's hard to get out, and it's painful.
Right.
Same.
And another thing of how to get rid of your idols, like you said, don't quit and don't hide from it. You should come up front and be a man and face it and get through it. Have a person say I don't know example. Say you have something, you could use somebody to get away from that idol. Say it's a video game. Instead of playing the video game, you can take one of your friends and FaceTime them and sit there and talk about anything, just a way to get away from the idol.
Right.
And face it. Don't run from it. Face it.
Right. All right. I got Hannah, Estes, and Reese, and then we're going to wrap things up. Hannah, go for it.
Okay, so if you're in my life group, you've heard me mention this before, but when we complete this, after we have ended this Zoom and where everything's done for until Sunday, don't just after the Zoom put down your phone or turn off your computer and just forget about everything we've said, because it is so important to, like, if you know, oh, I have an idol, don't just get off of here and then immediately forget it and do something else.
Right.
Just keep it with you so that you can okay, I have an idol, I need to do something about this, because I'm putting this before God. Don't go home if you're not at home. Don't just go and forget about this. Just think about it, because it is so important. This lesson was a very good one.
Good. I appreciate the encouragement, Hannah. Thank you. All right, Reese, final word, and then I got an announcement to make, so y'all don't run off just yet. I know it's been a long.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay, so one thing that has just really, I'm going to be open about this. One thing that I've really struggled with is my devotional on you version. The streak keeps me accountable, but not to the part that I need to be. I tend to in the mornings when I wake up, instead of going to YouVersion like I used to, whenever I was just a brand new Christian and like I just been saved and baptized and it was still new, and I was just seeing like, what is this all about? Okay, I'm trusting you. Even now, like I can sit here and say this, I've drifted more than I should be, and I don't wake up and go, oh, let me go straight to YouVersion. I check Snapchat and I go on Instagram and I check my text messages and I do stuff like that. And I put others and the satisfaction from other people before God and before before I have my time. And that's a really negative thing. It puts me in not a good mood, and it makes me it makes me in a bad mood. It makes me really negative. And so I'm like,
Right.
okay, so I go and then I'm doing my devotional and I'm like, this is stupid. Let's just move on. Like, I've already heard this. I've already read this. And so it's not a good thing, which I've used this time away from school and everybody just to kind of get straight again. And that's just something that I can sit here and say, like, is an example within my life. And that is one thing that I did make an idol, but I've used this time to kind of go back the right way and kind of turn back towards, do your devotional first, get the positive first,
Right.
and then look at your life after. And it makes me not even want social media anymore.
Yeah, Matthew 6:33, seek the kingdom of heaven first.
Yep.
And it's easy to not. So guys, this has been great. I think there were over 30 of us at one point. Biggest thing I need from you guys is to encourage people in your life group, people that you know that are in youth group, to join us on Sunday night for Zoom. We're just going to do Zoom, no live stream, nothing like that. We'll do another lesson. It'll be interactive. And some of you guys that were quiet and didn't talk, it's totally cool. You can do that every single time if you want. But hey, some of you guys need to speak out. It's all good. You guys that aren't saying anything, I bet you got a lot of good things to contribute. So I'm going to go ahead and go to let's see, speaker gallery view. I just want to see all you guys real quick. Oh my gosh, man, it's good to see you guys. So kind of wrapping things up before we pray and go. Raise your hand if you've wondered about camp this summer, if we're going to have it or not. Anybody? I see some hands being raised. Yep. So here's the deal. I don't have a definitive word for y'all. I wish I could say, yes, we're going and it's going to be okay. Man, I don't know. I know that there are a lot of things that people are starting to cancel this summer all over the world. That doesn't mean here, but we'll know a whole lot more in the next couple of weeks. Y'all, I want you to pray that God will open a door we can go, and it'll be safe. It won't be even a doubt. Maybe they'll come up with a vaccine, and people say, well, it takes 2 years for that. I don't know, but who knows what God. But look, here's the deal. I'm going to try to let you guys know something as soon as we know something about that. So just pray. I know it's crazy. Everybody's getting restless. Y'all, you gotta seek God during this time. If you won't seek God when you've got all this time, when are you ever going to seek Him? So I encourage you to pursue Him. Get that YouVersion app, read that verse of the day, if nothing else. Spend time praying, seeking His face, and help me spread the word about the Zoom stuff that we're doing. Hey, but one other thing, y'all, you need to. If this is an idol for you and you're struggling with it, don't worry about it. But if you're cool handling it, if you're on Instagram, like our Facebook Instagram account, the student ministry. I'm going to be doing a couple of Facebook lives, and I will put it out there what time that'll happen. I'm actually going to be interviewing a couple of very special people, so you guys need to check that out. Something different that we've done. I think we're trying to reach a few more folks on Instagram that aren't really on Facebook and stuff like that. But anyway, so here's what we're going to do. I am going to unmute everybody. I want everybody to say bye, and then I'm going to mute everybody and pray real quick, and we're going to, I say hit the road. I'm going to be hitting the road. I'm up at the youth building, but I'm going to drive back home. But guys, I miss y'all. I know this is not how any of us planned it to be. And be praying for our seniors. They're really struggling. We haven't had a lot of seniors on these meetings. We need to encourage them to get on board as well. Show them some love. All right. All right, I'm unmuting everybody in 3, 2, 1.
I love my homeboys, Brad and
Everybody say
Mitchell.
bye, all right?
I love my homeboys, Brad and
Dawson,
Mitchell.
love you too.
Bye.
Bye,
Have a
everyone.
good
Love you
Bye.
guys.
Who wins the pizza? Who won the
Bye.
pizza?
Like seriously.
Yeah.
Who won the
Is there a
pizza?
pizza?
Hi.
All right, let me pray.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Let me pray for you guys. God, I just want to thank you so much for the students and adults that you showed up tonight. God, I know this is hard, and God, this is not what we want. But Lord, we know that you can work through anything, including social distancing. Lord, I pray for everybody to be healthy, that no one would get sick. I pray for those in our area who are sick, for our healthcare workers, God, for our local government, state government, federal government. Lord, I pray that you would use this time in history to bring revival, God, and awakening, clarity. I pray that you'd help us, Lord, to throw away our idols. Every high thing must come down, God. And it's easy to sit here and say it. It's hard to do it. So, God, give us the strength to do it. Until we meet again, God, keep us safe. Help us to be the light of Christ. In Jesus' name, amen. I love you guys. Bye. Y'all be good. Awesome.